It was always a dream of mine to open my own restaurant. I never thought it would actually come true. I think only crazy people open restaurants. I'm definitely a crazy person. What is ALMA's style? Oh, that's a good question. Good and thoughtful food that's memorable. My name is Anna Chen, and we are here at my restaurant, ALMA.
Why did you want to open your own restaurant?
I think it was now or never. You know, I don't want to wake up one day, I'm 50, and I'm like, shit, I didn't do it. I regret not doing it. I would say that we make 95% of our food in-house. Obviously, we buy in some things, but we do all of our butchery in-house. We make all of our sauces. We make all of our pastas. Why do we do that? Because it's better. For example, we make our own stracciatella cheese in-house, which is something that I learned when I was cooking in an Italian restaurant, and I think that our stracciatella is delicious. The quality of stracciatella we make is so much higher than the stuff that you buy in stores. So yeah, we're very proud of that. So I'm going to pre-steam the baos right now. And they are going to steam for 4 minutes. So the baos are now steaming hot. I'm gonna get ready to pan-sear it. While that's searing, we're going to get the dips ready. So we have our house-made stracciatella cheese. This is our eggplant fenugreek dip. And then the stracciatella gets some arbequina olive oil. Eggplant gets some chili oil. I'm gonna check on the baos. Nice color on both sides. We use 00 flour for the baos. We also add a bit of potato in the dough as well. It's much more fluffy and less dense compared to baos that you can probably buy at a supermarket. The potato makes it lighter and has a more distinct flavor, more savory than sweet. The bao we make here is representative of, say, sourdough bread that a lot of restaurants use. You get some really nice butter or some cheese to go with that. I love sourdough bread, but I just wanted to do something different. We serve it plain, pan-seared with some dips. And then a generous amount of salt while it's warm so that the salt clings to the bao. And this is our pan-seared bao with stracciatella cheese with olive oil, eggplant fenugreek dip with chili oil. I was born and raised in Kolkata, India. I was really young at the time. I think I went to boarding school right up until I was about 10 or 11 years old. It was difficult. We'd be in boarding school for months at a time. You'd be away from your parents a lot. It was fun, but no, it was, I don't know, I don't have the fondest memories of being in school. Yeah, I have nightmares about them actually. Sometimes I have nightmares that I'm still in class. When I wake up, I am just so thankful that I am not there. I have 3 older sisters who are like super straight A students. I was like a B+ student, and that was obviously never good enough. I remember even growing up, I was a bit of a daydreamer. I think that makes sense that I chose this career, but once I chose this career, it was just like I woke up and I just started running and haven't stopped since. The making of the radish cake is a pretty intensive process. We get a case of radishes almost every week. We basically grate the entire box of radish. Then we salt it. Let it sit for a bit so it draws out all the water. We press it to take out about 90% of the moisture. What you are left with is this intensive, concentrated, grated radish. We mix in some salt. Onion confit, a little bit of black pepper, and some tapioca starch to just bind it all together. Then what we do is we spread that onto several trays and we get big blocks of radish cake essentially. We steam that. After it comes out of the steamer, it basically sits in the walk-in and dries for about a week. After that, we cut them into rectangles like this. That's when you get the radish cake. To order, we gently pan fry them. You want to go nice and low and slow so you get a nice golden color, nice and crispy. So our radish cake is a play on lobako, our version of it, because it's usually there's pork in it. So I wanted to make something that was purely vegetarian. I wanted to make something that was very dense with radish, which is what this is. We're pretty much done here. And then we're gonna take some salt. So we have our plum sauce here. Our lobako is very simple. Simple is hard to do. You can use 10 different ingredients on a plate and maybe get away with it, but when you use like 4 or 5 ingredients, there's nowhere to hide. That's our radish cake. It takes a lot of work and it goes through a lot of process to get the final product. The menu here at ALMA has evolved a lot over the years and will continue to evolve. If you don't change, then you're not moving forward. And currently, I would say 60% of the menu stays the same because we have our staples. This is one dish that has been on the menu since day one. Back home in India where I grew up, there was a person making these noodles and we would buy from him like almost every Sunday. So this would be our meal on Sundays. It's a very, very traditional Hakka Chinese dish. I grew up eating it. I think in general, when you hear pork wonton and noodles, everyone's used to wontons in soup and noodles. It's not a soup noodle wonton dish. It's dry, not dry, but it has a sauce that's made of rendered pork fat, lots of green onion and black pepper. This just emulsifies together, and this is the sauce for the noodles. So when we render the pork fat for the sauce, you end up with these pork crackling in the fat that we strain out, these crunchy little bits. Those little bits of crunchy pork crackling go into the filling, and the filling is literally that with ground pork. We're not messing about. It's literally just pork in the filling. Yeah. We used to make our wrappers, but we don't anymore because it's just, we couldn't keep up with production. So we buy the wrappers and then we make the wontons. So these are the wontons that we just made. Water's boiling. Pop the wontons in. We have our noodles. So the wontons cook for a total of 5 minutes. Our sauce over here. Gonna take a little bit of this noodle water. The timer is going off now. And we're gonna put 2 more minutes for our wontons. We're gonna drop our choy with the noodles just to blanch them really, really quickly for like 10 seconds. You'll see there's quite a bit of water in there because we really want the noodles to cook out even more with the sauce. Cook these noodles in a very Italian sort of fashion. As it further cooks in the pot with the sauce, is absorbing the sauce as well as releasing more starch. So you can see like the liquid almost like disappears because it's all being soaked up by the noodles. So you get this like really thick kind of sauce that clings to the noodles in the end. Perfect. Turn it off. Drop the wontons in. Gonna add a touch more here. Just gonna toss the wontons in the sauce as well so the whole dish is amalgamated. And now we're ready to plate. One most important thing I love about this dish is it's so Moorish. Once you get it in your mouth, it makes you salivate and just want to eat more and more of it. I think this is the most important dish to me on the menu and forever will be. To be able to serve a dish that I ate growing up, a dish that I've loved my entire life, to be able to serve that in my restaurant and have people love it the way I do is pretty much nostalgia on a plate. That's it. This is pork wonton and noodles with soy black pepper. Like, my mom has the best palate. No, I did not learn how to cook from my mom. People have asked me that before, and they're like, oh, you must have been really involved in the kitchen with your mom. No, my mom was very strict. If we were in the kitchen, she would be like, please leave. I never cooked when I was growing up. I started cooking because I went to cooking school and because I realized that, wow, I'm actually good at this. Growing up, like I said, I was a B+ student and my sisters were all straight A students. So I was never told like, oh, good job or anything like that. But once I started cooking, it was just like, I found that it gave me purpose. It made me feel good about myself. It's kind of like a drug that you just want more of, right? So, yeah. The Char Siu pork steak, I came up with it during the pandemic. I wanted to do a Char Siu that was charcoal grilled using our Binchutan charcoal. We use the capicola, which is the neck muscle of the pork. We use that cut because it has really nice marbling of fat. We brine the pork for 24 hours, which traps in the moisture. Then we put a marinade on it that we sous vide it slightly to a medium rare. The sous vide is not so much to cook it, but for the pork to really absorb the marinade. And then when we get an order, we grill it to get that really nice char. Grills really well as the fat renders and you don't get like a dry Char Siu. And this is the same marinade that we put on it before we sous vide it. And once you char it, it's just beautiful. Yeah, you should definitely try it. This is the caramelized cashew sauce. That's just gonna go on this turnip here. The garnish. Gonna add a little bit of salt here. And this is our Char Siu sauce. For our garnish for the Char Siu pork, we have some turnips here that are thinly sliced. And we have some yu choy here. From start to finish, the Char Siu pork takes about 30 hours. And this is our charcoal grilled Char Siu pork steak with turnips and caramelized cashew. Once I graduated, I got a job at Lee Restaurant under Susirli, and then I moved on to working at Scaramouche, which is an institution. Then I moved to London, England. There I worked at Murano, which is Angela Hartnett's one Michelin star Italian restaurant. I moved on to working at another Italian restaurant called Zucca, which is sadly not there anymore, but it holds a really, really special place in my heart because when I worked at Zucca was when I realized that I actually wanted to open my own place one day and that it was possible. It was the first restaurant I worked at where I actually had a balance in life and work. I really enjoyed it and the food was incredible. Most fun and best years of my life. When I came back to Canada, I was the opening sous chef at a restaurant called Actinolite. Justin is a chef owner and he's amazing. That was the first place I learned about opening your own restaurant in Toronto, what it takes. He built it up from the ground up, just as I have. It was time to do what I wanted to do. Found this space and here I am. The most important. At ALMA, it's all about team. We have a small team, it's very tight-knit. For me, it's attitude is number one. I'm very particular about the people that I hire. It's definitely about teamwork. I am nothing without my team. Nothing. I love everything about my job. No matter how stressful and how upset I get about it sometimes, I love it. I keep coming back for more, and it's also very rewarding when someone has worked with you for so long and then they move forward to other bigger things. I know that I've done my job right. I love cooking for customers, bringing joy to people, teaching cooks to cook, bringing a team together, getting the Michelin Bib Gourmand together. I mean, how many people get to do that? I put everything into this place, and to see people take it positively and be happy, give us amazing feedback and have regular customers coming back over and over again, it makes me very proud, it makes me very happy, and I thank them so much. And I would not be here, literally would not be here if it wasn't for them. I'm forever grateful. To keep leveling up. Yeah, that's my goal for ALMA, to keep leveling up. What that means, we'll see. ALMA means nourishing and soul in Latin. I wanted people to come here and leave happy and nourished.